someone who hates readings, but you're dying to change your life and had no idea how to do it. Today I'm going to change your mind, and this video is for you. Yes, it's for you. So let's start it. Now listen, I used to hate reading too, but after I read these 4 books, it completely changed my mind and also my life as well. So these 4 books is related to self-improvement, psychology, and also finance. These are the 4 books that I strongly recommend you to read. Go get it and read it. It will change your whole life. I would die to share it to you because I want you all the best. I want you all to trying to do for the better. Just trying to read these 4 books, and I swear to God it will change your fucking life. So let's start from the book number 4. It's called, this one is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Also, just a little bit of disclaimer here. I will use a lot of swear words for this book because it's genuinely focusing on the word fuck, which means so many ways in this book, in this contents, and I apologize in advance if I may be so offensive to anyone, but I'm trying to tell you the purpose of this book. This book, I really suggest you to read it like 100%, 200%. Please read this book. It will change your life completely. This book will turn your pain into your trauma into power, and your problems will turn it into a slightly better problems. So this book will talk about the key to life. It's about not giving a fuck to more, but giving a fuck to what is actually true, immediate, and important. This book is actually teach me how I care about everything in general. Sometimes you give a fuck to too many things, it's bad for your mental health. The book also reminds us to remember that hey, you're going to die one day. Everyone is going to die one day if you've forgotten. Like, you have limited fuck to giving out to every little single things in this world. If you go around and giving a fuck about everything and everyone without thinking about yourself and well-being, then this book said that you're going to get fucked. This book also telling you that you have a choice to shoot whatever fuck or whatever things that you should give a fuck about, because not everything is fuck worthy. Not everything is worthy for your mental health or your health and well-being in general. So you have to know what is worth it, what is not, what is important and what is not, what is wasting your time and what is not. And that is called majority, when you're trying to think about yourself more than trying to please everyone, or you trying to think about your health and well-being rather than trying to please other people before your own self. The book also said not giving a fuck doesn't mean that you are being indifferent from other people. It means that you're trying to protect your inner self, and it means that you are comfortable being yourself. You are comfortable being differently, being your authentic self. Does that make sense? It is very important to say no sometimes that you think that it's not right for you. Then saying no or rejection on something is very important for yourself. Another important thing is that the book trying to tell you to set your own boundary. Setting your own boundary is mean that you're trying to have a self-defeating or stand up for yourself. When you stand up for yourself, so that means that you know that you are valued enough, you know that you are powerful enough, you know that you are worthy enough in whatever situation that you are in. You are not scared to speak up for yourself. You are not scared to be a voice for your own self. People with weak boundary, usually they're trying their best to fit in someone else's expectation, and they're also trying their best to do whatever people expect them to do, even though they against their own intention, against their own emotion, or against their own thought, intention, or everything in general. Lastly, the book focusing about it's good sometimes to acknowledge your own pain, your suffering, accepting your failures, and the uncertainty. The more you acknowledge this, the brighter your life gets. That's all the book is trying to tell you. Now let's move on to the book number 3. This one, Atomic Habit by, what's the name? James Clear. This book is a life hack, a must-read book that you can't miss it. This book will teach you that getting 1% better each day, every day, is better than nothing. Getting 1% better each day counts a lot in the long run. This book is very good for someone who is desperate to change their life. And it said that you have the power to change your life by changing your habits. And you have the power to change your beliefs about yourself by just changing, twisting a little bit of your habits that can easily shape your identity in the future. It's also said that you have a choice in every moment, and every action that you have is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. In this book, it also tells you a little bit of tips how to build better habits in 4 simple steps. The first one is make your habit obvious. The second one is make your habit attractive. The third one is make your habit easy. And the last one is make your habit satisfying. James Clear mentioned about these 4 rules is because of the human behavior. Whatever we get immediately, we tend to repeating that habit. Whatever we get punished from that habit, we tend to avoid. Another important point that I got from this book, and I still remember it until this day, it is said that if you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. There you go. I said it. If you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. You can win by being yourself, being different, being yourself, getting the skill that you have, combining all skill that you have, reduce all the competition because you will stand out and you can rewrite your own rules. That's what the book said. And I love it so much because when you know that you value at something, you know that you are skilled at something, you're special because you're unique. So the competition, forget about it because you will write your own rule. How interesting is that about this book? Like seriously, go buy it and read it. It's more to learn about this book. It's very, 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 very useful for you. Seriously, go and buy. Now it's come down to the book number 2, which is very exciting one, and I want you to read it as well. It is called Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert T. Kiyosaki. Before you read this book, I would suggest you to read this one first. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by the same author, which is Robert Kiyosaki. But this will be my rank number 1, which is the best book of all time, but I will go through that later on, so stay tuned for that. From now on, let's start with this book first. This book basically trying to categorize people based on their money come from. For example, if you can see it here, ESBI. So it stands for this one on the left side. It stands for E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, B stands for business or business that has more than 500 employees, and I stand for investor. So in this book, the author trying to categorize by the left side or the right side based on their philosophy, based on their behavior, and based on their way of thinking of how to gain wealth. So let's say the left side, which are employee and self-employed or small business, and the right side, which are business owner and investor. So let's go through on the left side first, which are employee. Let's start with the employee. So the employee, people in the E-quadrant usually have the emotional fear. They usually seek for security for their life, for their job, and for their everyday living. And also they usually have a strong sense of agreements, which means that every time that they got a job or every time that they got promoted or anything, they usually seek for the paper writing down that, hey, this is my income, this is the job, this is the thing that I will get the benefit and everything on the paper. So they will feel more safe and secure for the job that they have. It's also said that people in the E-quadrant usually think that the money is not that important, but the security for their life is way more important than the money. I would say that these people, because I used to be in this quadrant once, I would say that the money is actually important for them, but they're just afraid that they will lose their job. They're just afraid that the security is not there if they do something else, if they take any more risk. So the money is actually important for this quadrant, but they're scared of doing something new, so they will keep their job they're trying to do every day. They're not making any big changes in their lives. So this quadrant usually think about security and agreements and benefits. So let's move to the second quadrant, which is the S, which stands for small business or self-employed. If you are in this quadrant, in the book Robert said that you usually either professionals or perfectionists or you are artists. So people in this quadrant usually seek for freedom, usually seeks for the way of doing their own thing, being their own boss, or do it yourself people. So people in this quadrant, they usually a hard worker and a perfectionist. Whenever they work hard, they expect to get paid well, and when they don't work hard, then they don't deserve to get paid well. And also they think that no one can do it better than them, and also they don't trust anyone to do the job for them. People in this quadrant, they also don't really trust someone else to do the job for them, because they think that no one does it better than them and they want to do it in their own way. For the people in this group, they usually think that money is not the most important thing for them, but the independence, the freedom of doing the things in their own way and being respected as experts in their field is much more important than the money for them. Also, if you don't have a small business or if you are not a self-employed, you could be also categorized in this group as well. If you are a person who wants to do the thing in your own way, even though you're working under management, like let's say if you have a manager, and if a manager comes to you and tell you to do this, then you a person who can easily walk out of the job because you want to do the thing in your own way, and you know for the fact that you will finish the task or the task. You don't need anyone to supervise you along the way. And if someone bother you too much, or if you work under micromanagement, you are not afraid to walk away from that job, and you are the person who like, I don't want to be told to do the things. Now let's move to the right side of the cash flow quadrant. Let's start from the B, which is the business owner who has more than 500 employees. So the people in this group are opposite from the S quadrant, which is the small business owner. Is because people in this group is usually like to surrounding themselves with other people in all categories, which are the employee, small business owners, self-employed, or even among themselves, or even with investor. So the mindset of these business owner people, they usually think like, why do it yourself when you can hire someone to do it for you, and even they can do it better. Isn't that smart to think like that? Remember, work smarter, not harder, baby. So the big difference between the B quadrant and the S quadrant is that the B or business owner, they can leave the work for a year. When they come back, the business still running. But if the S, which is the self-employed people, if they leave the work for a year, then that means the business will fall apart because no one is working for them. Make sense? Now, the last one on the cash flow quadrant, which is I, stand for investor. So the investor, they usually make money with money and they don't work hard because the money will work hard for them. Now, after learning all the 4 categories in the cash flow quadrants, which quadrant that is actually you? Are you employees? Are you self-employed? Are you business owner who has more than 500 employees? Or are you investor? I want you to think about that carefully. Now we finally come down to my rank number 1, which is this one, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book changed my entire life, not just financially, but also everything in general. There are 2 famous sentences out of this book that most people probably know if you're into finance. The first one is that your house is not an asset. And the second one is that the poor and middle class work for money, but the rich have money work for them. Interesting, hey? In the beginning of the book, it said that your life lesson is very important to learn. If you learn it well, then you will do well. And also, if you don't learn it well, then life will push you around. I love that word so much. Life will push you around. Some people just let it push them around, but some people fight it back. Interesting, hey? It's also said that when it comes to money, most people play it safe and feel secure rather than have their passion to direct them, but the fear direct them instead. The first financial lesson that you will learn from this book, which is pay yourself first, which means that every time that you get paid, you can pay yourself a little bit first before you pay bills. And it also said that don't get into large debt. If you have debt, make it small. But if you have a larger debt, make sure that someone else paid for it. And you have to know your statement, your income statement and your balance sheet. And also you have to know what is your income, what is your expenses, what is your asset and what is your liability. You have to know when or what or how much is your money come in and how much is your money go out. The second lesson that you will learn from this book is that the rich buy asset, the poor have only expenses. The middle class buy liabilities and think that is assets. And the sentence come in, the house is not your asset. And the middle class think it is an asset, but instead it is liability. The third lesson that you will learn from this book is that if you're an employee and if you work for the company, you will be taxed before you get paid. And also all the work and effort that you put into work, you make the business owner or the shareholder get rich, but not yourself. But if you work for the government will also take its share as well before you see it. By working harder, you simply pay more tax. The fourth one is that choose friends carefully. You will become a person by who you are surrounding with. Be true to yourself, be authentic, be yourself. Being different is not bad at all. And don't try to follow the crowd. Sometimes the crowd can be late for something. And the tip is that don't forget to invest in the most important thing, which is your mind. The fifth one is that make daily choices, which means that you have to learn new things, try new things, make mistakes, and fully understand. You have to learn, grow. You can't just stuck in your comfort zone to be able to grow individually. So that's it. What do you think, guys? These are the 4 books that I strongly recommend you to read. Go get it and read it. It will change your whole life in terms of finance and in terms of life as well. So just go get it. It is really useful. And yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this video. Thank you for watching until the end. Alrighty, bye guys. Thanks so much. See you. Give it. That's what the